Hi, I am Carolyn Friedlander, and welcome to week 1 of the Alphabet and Shirts Quilt-Along. Thanks for joining me. I'm really excited to get this Quilt-Along started. All right, so this week, this is what I'm calling the Dream Week. First week, it is just always so important to dream big. At the start of a project, I don't know, is it the most exciting time? What's your favorite part of your project? For me, definitely the onset of a new project is such an exciting time. And so at the beginning of this quilt-along, I really want to encourage you to dream big. I'm definitely dreaming big. Make plans, make too many plans, make too many goals and dreams. Because the thing is that I feel like these dreams and goals and thoughts and plans are all perfect things to come back to later when we might hit a dead end or lose our focus or start feeling uninspired or hit a lull. It's just really nice to, while you're at the beginning of something, to just, brainstorm and see how many different places you can go with your ideas. So for me, some of the things that I am thinking about, so first of all, with this quilt-along, we are doing my alphabet project, and we're also doing shirts. So 2 different patterns. You can make one, you can make both, totally up to you. I am intentionally keeping it open-ended just because I know that we're all kind of inspired and excited to move in different directions, and so this way we can all be working towards kind of similar goals, but in our own ways. So we'll start with alphabet. It's one of my newest projects and my newest patterns, and I've got a few different ideas with that one for what I want to do. First, kind of a really practical one. In the workshop for that project, I made a twin-sized quilt. Well, almost. I almost made a twin-sized quilt. So in my alphabet pattern, there are it's a full alphabet in 3 different sizes, and then there are also 3 sample projects. So a mini, a baby-sized quilt, and then a twin-sized quilt. I've made a mini, I've made the baby, and now the twin size is one that I piece in the online workshop, but I haven't actually finished that project. So it's a project that I'm wanting to give to my niece. I have all of the blocks made, but I need to add borders and I need to quilt it. So for me, that is a perfect goal to include in my plans for this quilt-along. So that's one thing I'm going to be thinking about. Another thing with alphabet that I'm thinking about, so as I mentioned with the pattern, there are 3 sample projects. So, if you want to make one of the sample projects, that's a great place to start and a great goal is to pick one of those sample projects and make that. But another really fun thing about the project is that it can be so open-ended. It's an alphabet. So you can take that in any number of directions. You can use it in small ways like creating labels or personalizing a project. So like if you're making a bag, you can spell out someone's name or use a word that you like or whatever. Or you could even spell out a quote. So I love quotes and I keep a log of quotes that I like, when I'm reading in a book. Find something that I like, I'll put a quote into this, I use Evernote. And so I've got like an ongoing note that I just add different quotes to. And this is actually how I get quotes for the calendar that I put together every year. So each month in this calendar, I have different quotes. So I'm always kind of keeping my eye out for quotes. So I have a quote in mind that I would really like to spell out in some piecing. So that's kind of another thing that I'm thinking about. So that's alphabet. As far as shirts, so shirts, on the shirts side of things, shirts is a really fun project of mine. It's foundation paper pieced, and you make little shirt blocks, which look like this. You'll see I match mine. So that kind of is the first thing. Last year, it is May. And along with May comes Me Made May, which is a month to kind of celebrate sewing or tweaking your own clothes, customizing your own clothes, or thinking about your wardrobe in a thoughtful way. And so last year, a friend gave me the idea to take my shirts pattern and make a block every day that somehow connected with my outfit. And it was pretty cool because a lot of things, I guess because I keep a stash, I hold on to things maybe too much. But I was able to make blocks that matched my outfit that day. And some matched perfectly because I had those fabrics still. Other times, if I didn't have the right fabric, or maybe the fabric was one I didn't want to use, or I didn't have the fabric, it was nice to take direction from the outfit itself, be it capturing the color, capturing the palette of like the pieces into a block. And so it was really, really fun, and I've been looking forward to doing that this month. But that's really why I wanted to include shirts in this quilt along, because it is May, and I would love to have other people join me with this challenge. So as you can see today, I've already made this one, which matches my shirt. And I love it. So fun. But kind of added twist that I'm going to be doing this time is that, so I recently got married just about a week and a half ago, and it was really special and wonderful, and I made a lot of things for the wedding, including my dress. I made several dresses. I made my husband Bobby, I made his shirt. And so I really just wanted to make some blocks to commemorate some of those things. And then also I can share those things with you too. There's kind of a funny thing about Me Made May that happens is that it's always in May. And there are times in the winter or like other special occasions where I'm like, oh, I made this outfit and I would love to, I don't know, it would be cool. I think about this in May. It would be cool to have commemorated that outfit in this project. So this month I am going to do that. I am going to not always do the outfit that I'm wearing, but do other outfits, other things that I've made, and especially those that had to do with the wedding, because I just think that this would be a wonderful way to commemorate it and a good kind of memory quilt. And also with my shirts project, that's something that's come up. People have mentioned that, and I've definitely thought about that, is that it would make a really good memory quilt, whether you use your own clothes or use someone else's. It can just be a really beautiful, beautiful project to do. So I'm excited about that. And let's see, what else? It is also Me Made May. So this is not really included in the quilt along, but I'm just sharing this because, like I said, today is kind of about dreaming. And since this quilt along is going on, but it is also Me Made May, and I am making shirts, so I am thinking about my wardrobe, and I do kind of have some goals related to Me Made May itself. There is an actual shirt I would like to make, and that is the Jenna button-up shirt from Closet Core. So that's kind of on my mind. And then I also have some dresses that I've made, and I might have already worn them, but they need some buttons. So I need to like wrap those dresses up. Those will be dresses that I also probably make shirts blocks with, but yeah, we'll find out more about those a little bit later. So even though the like actual clothing stuff is not part of the quilt along, I'm kind of wanting to share that just because I feel like all of the stuff that's going on in our lives, all of the creative things, creative and otherwise, can really help inform the stuff that we want to make. And so since it is Me Made May going on, and since I am making these block shirts, pieced block shirts, shirt blocks, I don't know, it's going to make me want to make an actual shirt. So it's just going to inspire all of these other things. So that is also on my list. So yeah, those are some of my plans. Again, I think it's really important to dream big, and kind of more than that, like make sure to, take pictures, pull swatches, make a mess. Like this is a good time to do all those things at the beginning of the project. I think if you can start your focus really big, then you can narrow it down as you move along. And then if you find yourself kind of along the way, like burning out a little bit or losing steam, you can always reflect back on those things from the beginning that you were most excited about. And a lot of times for me, having that kind of stuff to look back on can help me kind of refocus down the road if I've lost track a little bit, and re-inspire and reinvigorate the project. So dream big, and I'm really excited. I don't know if I'm planning for too many things, but I don't know. Better too many than too few. You don't want to be bored, right? All right, so we've got some practical stuff. that I wanted to mention. So both shirts and Alphabet, the patterns are found in my shop. Alphabet also has an on-demand workshop, which you can add into your order. And it just walks you through everything. It walks you through foundation paper piecing, fussy cutting, sewing all of the different size blocks. So if you're wanting more to kind of take in with that project, that is available. And also, if you've already purchased the pattern, just send us an email, and if you decide that you want to add the workshop on later, we can work it out so that you don't have to buy the pattern again, so that that's discounted from your order. Let's see. Also, we have a giveaway going on with this sew along, which is really exciting. Sewtopia, a really great online shop, has offered to give us a giveaway. And I'm probably going to give away a gift card as well, at least one gift card. So if you want to enter for the giveaway, I've got a link in the description below. Everything that I'm talking about in this video will be linked in the description below. So sign up there, and that way we've got kind of your information to reach out to you, and then a winner will be chosen at random. There's also a link below, and then we'll also go over the terms and kind of what you have to do in order to be eligible to win. And you'll be able to find all of the Quilt Along stuff here on my YouTube channel, so make sure that you are subscribed so you can get all of the updates. I'll also be posting on the blog, so you can check that out, as well as my Instagram. And then my newsletter. If you're subscribed to my newsletter, you'll be getting all the information there too. I like to send out updates weekly-ish, but we'll definitely be doing that with the Quilt Along. So I'll have all of the recapped information there with links. And each week you can expect lots of inspiration. I'll be posting a video here and blog post, and then different social media posts throughout the week. So I'll let you in on what I'm working on. Definitely daily, I'll be trying to post my little shirts blocks. I'll be resharing some things from you, because I cannot wait to see what all of you are making. And then, I mentioned there is a sign-up form, which I'll link below. So that's how you officially join in, so that you are eligible to win for prizes. And on my little sign-up form, I have an optional question where I just asked what you're most excited about, and I have loved reading through your responses. I think that a lot of us are coming to a Quilt Along for the same reasons. It's one, camaraderie. It's great to be sewing along with other people. For me, I don't always get the opportunity to sew along with you at the same pace, and so these Quilt Alongs and sew alongs are really fun in that way. And another thing that a lot of folks mentioned was getting tips on selecting fabrics, finding new color combinations. I love that so much. I feel the same way. I always love seeing how people are putting things together. But I'm definitely going to let you in on that process for me. And one thing is, especially with the shirts challenge, there's something really, last year when I did this, actually that's my quilt top from last year behind me, it really made me think of my wardrobe in a different way. And I mean, I did it paired with kind of my wardrobe and what I was wearing, but I was thinking you can take daily inspiration from something else. So for example, today, it's such a yellow day, and I have been, with my shirt, I'm wearing a yellow shirt, and I was just thinking, I actually went outside and took a picture of some coreopsis that I'm growing there just in full bloom, and they're yellow and beautiful, and it's just such an inspiring color to me. And it got me thinking that you could do a shirt every day just inspired by plants outside, things that are blooming. But you could do that with anything. So it doesn't have to be the clothes you wear. But for me, my wardrobe definitely inspires the blocks, and then last year it kind of became, they'd go both ways. So as I was laying out my blocks, I would think the next one needs to have some kind of dark background, or I haven't used this color, or I'm always wearing that, or something like that. It really helped me think about not only my wardrobe, but how I was pairing those different pieces together, which is not too different from how you'd pick out fabrics to put together in a quilt block. So it can be a really fun and inspiring way to work. Another thing that many of you have mentioned is that you're really interested in getting tips and tricks for doing these things, so I'm really excited to share that kind of stuff with you too. And then I also loved reading about all of the different ways that so many of you are planning to, well, use these projects, but especially Alphabet. I feel like it's such an open-ended project, and so it was reaffirmed by reading a lot of your responses that you're planning to personalize quilt labels, personalize gifts, you're making things for people who are getting married in your lives. It's just really wonderful. So, and then last, there was definitely a theme of like people looking like, we are all looking to have fun. So we were getting out of a lull. I just love that. So super excited and so glad that all of you are joining me. And yeah, it's great. So let's see. And so you can share on social media your projects. Make sure to tag me on Instagram. That's probably the best way to make sure I'm able to see it. I know that hashtags are a little funky these days. So definitely do that, but you can also use the hashtag CF Shirts of Shirts. That's the one that I'll be using for the shirts project. And then CF Alphabet, that hashtag if you're making Alphabet. And so I do follow both of those hashtags, but like I said, hashtags can get a little funky. They don't always show up, which is frustrating. But make sure to tag me too, and then I'll be able to see what you were working on. All right, so that's that. The other final thing is that each week you can submit questions to me to answer in these videos. And so I've got a link for that below. And so I've got 3 questions that have come from you that I was going to answer. First, Rebecca says, I think I've read and listened to the majority of your interviews, and I don't believe anyone has ever asked you the following. Was it difficult learning how to make quilt patterns? You have your architect skills, so how did that help you? And you can add more if you like. Thanks. Yeah, that's a great question, Rebecca. I would say that architecture and studying architecture and design was really helpful. Like studying the design process was just like really mind-opening for me. And I think of the design process as really just problem solving. So, and the way you solve that, or the ways of getting through the problem, are different depending on what you are, what tools you have. But like in quilting, for example, I love thinking about a design, as a pattern maker. Maybe there's like a design, I want it to be like the sun and rays or something like that. And, or maybe there's this like feeling that I want to evoke. And so, it's really following the design process that like allows me to see that idea through from dream to reality. And then in writing quilt patterns, that's like a whole other step, is then making it repeatable, making sure it's a project that could be repeatable, making sure it's a project that's worth patterning. So I think, definitely studying architecture helped me click with kind of the design process, which is really helpful in what I do now. And as far as writing quilt patterns themselves, that kind of some of the technical stuff from that came later. Definitely came from other people I knew who were writing quilt patterns, and then at the time, because this was many years ago, doing as much research as I could, and then just trial and error over the years, like learning kind of as I go. But yeah, thank you. And then Juliana asks, what do you use as paper for paper piecing? It's a great question. I grabbed, just because I just ran out of this paper, or not ran out, I've got another ream, but I just use a recycled office paper. This one is sustainably made from sawmill wood chips. But any kind of like thin copy paper, preferably recycled, that is my favorite. That's my preference. And the reason for that is, one, it's super accessible. If I run out of it, it's pretty easy to get it, because I am not always someone who plans ahead when I have an idea. So I need to make sure that it's easy to get more when I need it. I like getting kind of a recycled or more sustainably sourced paper, because it's maybe like a more responsible option, but then also it can be a little bit slightly thinner, which I like. Office paper is kind of the perfect balance for me, because it has some substance to it, but it's not too thick. So paper piecing is a lot of like flipping up and down, being able to look through the paper, and I find this to be a really good balance. So I'll link this one below, but anything similar is what I prefer. But with foundation paper piecing, and especially if you're new and haven't tried it before, it's good to try different things because there are a lot of different options, and then figure out what works well for you. There's newsprint, that's kind of a popular one. There's also like water soluble ones, so paper foundations that wash away with water. Excuse me. And also some that you sew in and you leave those in your project. I know that removing the paper can be a frustrating part, but for me, I don't get frustrated with that, and it's there are two important things that you can do that make paper removal easier, is to shorten your stitch length to like a 1.5 millimeter stitch. That makes for a much smaller, tighter seam. So it perforates the paper more, which makes it easier to remove later. And then the other thing is anytime I sew two blocks together, I'm going to take out the paper in the seam allowance, or two sections. And you can actually see that on this block here. You see there's no paper there. And so when I sewed like these two pieces together, after I sewed the seam, I took out the paper that's in the seam allowance. And that just reduces the bulk when you go to iron it open, and it also eliminates having these little bits of paper tucked into those corners as you sew them together. That would be a nightmare. I don't believe in that. So yeah, just make it easy on yourself, and that helps out a lot. So yeah, that's my preference for paper. And then Truvi57 says, I already bought the alphabet patterns. I'm just curious to know if you'll be making all 26 letters for the sew-along. Can you tell I'm anxious to know details 36 hours before May 1st? Haha. I love that, and I love your enthusiasm. Yeah, so I have deliberately kind of built out this quilt-along to have a pretty open end to it, just because I know that we all kind of come into a project with our own inspiration and motivation, reason to make it. And so instead of saying, we're all going to make this one version of the project over this length of time, I really hope to I'm just wanting to encourage you to work with either of these projects or both. That's up to you. And find an aspect of it that you want to make. Whether that's one of the sample projects in Alphabet, or doing shirts like this, or maybe just even making one block that's going to become something else. That's really more what I am having in mind for you and what I would encourage you to do. So that's up to you. That's up to you. I'm here to cheer you on, give you inspiration, and to let you in on my process and the things that I'm making. And then also, as I see you all making things, I, would love to highlight those things so that we can all see and be inspired by each other. So there's no specific outcome for this project. As a group, it's more, we can each set our own goals and make what we want to make. So, and even, it's cool too. Another thing you could think about, just because you said if we'll be making all 26 letters for the sew-along, that could be a goal itself. Just say, hey, and 26 is pretty good, because if this is a, basically a slightly month-long project, you just say, I want to piece all 26 letters. I'm going to do one a day, and that'll account for me missing a few days here and there. I think that could be an amazing goal. Last year when I was making these little shirts blocks, I loved, if it's your first time making the block, it might take a little bit more time, but as you get really comfortable with it, it doesn't take that long to make the block. And there was just something nice about starting on my day, picking out my outfit, and then pulling fabrics that worked with that and sewing a block that didn't take a big amount of, a lot of time out of my day, but it really helped me it made me sew every day, which sometimes can be really hard. I don't know if you struggle with that too, but it's very easy to get caught up with all of the other things that are going on in our lives and that we need to get done. And so having just something small to work on every day, it was really nice. So maybe you could do that for Alphabet. Maybe you are wanting to make all 26 letters, and that's your goal every day, just to make one a day. and you'll miss a few days here and there. You'll have a few days of wiggle room here and there, but I think that could be really nice. All right. Well, thanks for joining in. I hope that this has been helpful. I hope that giving you some things to think about this week. Mainly just dream. I want you to dream. This is about inspiration and feeling excited. So I wish that for you. And if you're not feeling that way, definitely hop online and see what everyone else is up to, because we can inspire each other too. So, all right, I look forward to seeing you next week. Happy sewing.